As you know, as all of us know, death is something which it will meet us whenever and wherever Allah chooses it to meet us. And when that time is written, there's absolutely nothing that can be done to stop it, prevent it, delay it, nothing at all. And as you know, death comes, or it meets us on several different occasions, different timings. So I wanted to talk about just those three of those timings, those occasions, those moments when death hits us, and it's all related actually. So the first one is when you're on your way to a destination. So you're traveling to a destination. You could be riding, driving, walking, or you could be in flight. And at that time, death could come by way of an accident. It could come by way of sickness. For example, you may have been unwell and you might have a heart attack or something like that and die in the street. Or it could come by the hands of somebody else, like you could be killed or murdered in the street. So there's a first set of ways that you could die on the way to a destination. Then of course the next one is during the time that you're at that place, at that destination that you've been heading towards. Anything could happen there. For example, you know, again, it could be the same set of circumstances. You could die by way of being sick, or something could happen there. And it's all about what is taking place at that time that causes that death, and only Allah knows best of what that is. And then finally, it's returning from your journey. You could have an accident, or you can die through illness, or you could die through again from someone taking your life. None of this is without the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the question here for my thoughts today are, what were you traveling towards at the time that you died? And maybe this is like one of the times where you might be most fortunate. If you died on the way to doing something bad, then of course you could be saved from that. But your intentions, your actions are judged by your intentions. So dying on the way to a journey, on the way to a destination where you plan to do some haram deed or something which is very bad, then obviously Allah knows best as to whether you can be saved, or you know, but at least you didn't get to do that deed, if it's any consolation. So the second one now is while you're at that destination, and this is the worst one, because here, if you die whilst you're there, then it means that you die in the moment of doing something which is haram, whatever it might be, whether it be in a nightclub or in a pub or any kind of illicit act that you might be doing, subhanallah, right? But dying there is absolutely by far the worst. And it reminds me actually of the story of someone who, it's an old story actually. It's about a man who apparently was he was an elderly man, and he was apparently in the bingo or something like that, and he was dying, and he said, "I don't want to die here, take me out of this location." So they took him out and he died on the street. But later on it transpired that the story had been changed a little bit, and basically what happened is that this particular gentleman was actually in someone else's house, a house that he shouldn't have been in, with an individual he shouldn't have been there with, and obviously at that time he was about to die, and he didn't want to be exposed, so he was taken out onto the street, and that's where he died. That's really profound, and it really is relevant to this conversation right now. So then, dying there in that location, worst possible thing, because obviously seeking Allah's forgiveness is a lot harder once you've already died. And then dying on the way back from that journey now, on the way home, again, you might be embroiled, your thoughts might be entwined in the deeds that you had just taken part in, and maybe forgetting think that that would also be a good time to ask Allah's forgiveness. So you might be reveling in the fact that you've just done something, you enjoyed it, it was haram, you probably didn't care about it. And so dying in that state is also as bad as possibly dying whilst in the act. SubhanAllah. So you know that the best place to be is if you were dying on the way there, then at least you have more chance because you didn't actually do the deed. But it's a reminder for all of us, a reminder for every single one of us, that wherever we're going, whatever we're doing, we have to try to make sure that it's something which Allah will be pleased with. And I know how hard it is, because even the smallest of deeds that we do which is wrong is something which we sometimes can't help ourselves. So this reminder is for me just as much as it is for you. You know, when you think about that, you're in that act, or you're on your way to doing that bad, or you've just left from doing that bad. And an ayah of the Quran that really jumps out here for me is when Allah says, Inna Jahannama kanat mursada. He says that verily hell is waiting for you in ambush. Because we have the opportunity to do something right. We always have the opportunity. So when we forget ourselves and we suddenly find ourselves in that position where we have died in the act, then when that hellfire is waiting in ambush, we can't blame anything or anyone but ourselves. So my last thoughts here is that a person shouldn't really fear death as much as he should fear the act that he was about to do before he died, or as much as the act that he died in the process of doing, or the act that he had just done, and in all of that time didn't even occur to him to seek Allah's forgiveness, especially after the act. It's just a reminder for all of us, and this is why in Deen Riders we try to encourage all the brothers to always try to do as much good as possible, because hopefully the good will outweigh the bad. That's my thoughts for today.